Yes, good evening. Welcome to another bit of your daily dose of SirToshi's news. Today's date is Tuesday, the 3rd of October 2023, the year of BSV. Buy BSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Here we go. Let's get into it. This is what we are talking about. So this is epic. It's absolutely huge. I haven't got time to go through it all. I mean, this is just literally page after page after page after page after page after page. Yeah, we get to the bottom here. My goodness, there is a lot of information to take in there. 169 points altogether. And this is England and Wales High Court Chancery Division decisions before Mr. Justice Mellor between the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, even though they're that's not a man or a woman. It's an alliance. And Craig Wright. So. Start with the introduction when he says, this is my judgment from a further CMC, I think that's Court Case Management Conference, appointed to be heard in the vacation in an effort to keep the timetable down to trial on track. There were 5 applications before the court, 2 brought by the claimant in the COPA claim and 3 by the defendant in the COPA claim. The position on each application can be summarised as follows. Yeah, same with him. I think it's a request for information from COPA, chain of custody application, Dr. Wright's expert evidence application, then Dr. Wright's request for information application on COPA's draft primer, Dr. Wright's application to exclude hearsay evidence, as you'd expect, which is pretty good because you can't have a case heard on hearsay. It has to be facts. We need the facts. Yeah, we know the background, but I mean, there's huge amounts here. But we'll just for entertainment's sake on the news, we'll scroll down to point 117, which is just this one here. I think it's that one that I was referring to. Yeah. So this is a point that I read where it said. Request 55, actually tell you what, I think it's point number 51 we'll start with, hold on. Let's go up here, 51, there we go, this is quite significant. Point 51, in summary, requests 19 and 20 require Dr. Wright to specify the precise technical means he used to demonstrate, in each of the 4 interviews, his possession of the private keys for Block 9 and 1. Request 21 asks for the same information in relation to Block 11, but also to whom, how and when Dr. Wright demonstrated his ability to sign a message on Block 11. In his initial response, Dr. Wright referred to certain paragraphs in his witness statement. COPA submitted those paragraphs, did not provide sufficient answers, and I agree. Okay, but again, signing doesn't prove... just because you have possession of something doesn't prove ownership. So Craig's not really going to be willing to prove that. He needs to prove his identity without signing. There are lots of different ways to do it. All this lot want, basically this lot wanting to sign, basically I think they want to know where the keys are to the Satoshi coins, because once they know where the keys are, they can obviously send people after them. In my opinion. So Craig wants to keep those well hidden. You don't want to give any hint to anybody as to where they might be. So he can prove himself in other ways. There are lots of other things that he's done. He's the only one, for example, that knows how to scale this technology. Nobody else knows how to scale it. He's also the only one that understands this is the major one. He's the only one that understands how to maintain this digital protocol with any economic commodity value. That's the main point. SegWit is fraud, completely fraud, and having segregated the digital signatures from the transaction data, it means it's contractually illegitimate, which means there is no legal recourse in the dispute of a dispute in a trade that might arise, because the first thing you have to do is prove that you made the transaction of the money in order to say I want that money back, or you want the good or service in return that you expected from parting with your value in the first place. These are absolutely fundamentals, and they're left out. It really kind of pisses me off, because it's just so simple, and it's all this wishy-washy bullshit. whether or not Craig knows this or not, I mean, he is genuinely Asperger's, so he's probably just answering the questions that they give him. But, the questions that they're asking are not actually the questions that they mean. All they want is proof that he created the network. And the person who created the network knows how to scale it. Nobody else knows how to scale it. And the person who created the network should also understand the economic fundamental values of it to make it a commodity. It's really kind of obvious. It all comes down to financial motivation at the end. Why would you create something that was economically worthless? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But it doesn't fill me with confidence that any party actually really understands the fundamental points of what people are trying to get at in this case. But we'll go down to point 117. So it says here, request 55 refers to a posting made by Satoshi on the 6th of July 2010, in which he described Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency and asks whether Dr. Wright wrote that post. If not, he is asked to identify who wrote it and why it was attributed to Satoshi. Request 56 poses the question, on the assumption that Dr. Wright wrote the post under the pseudonym of Satoshi, why he has altered his position on whether Bitcoin is properly to be described as a cryptocurrency. Well, I can answer that one actually, because not even the top central bankers in the world know the difference between money and currency. They use the words interchangeably. Whereas, and again, I think probably Craig, being Asperger's, kind of like knew what was right and what was wrong in terms of what he was creating, but he probably just didn't know how to express it correctly at the time. And, considering the paper was released in 2009, we're talking 14 years ago now. A lot has been learnt since then. He was young. He was in his late 30s when he released the white paper. So just to expand on that, money has to be a commodity. In other words, it is common to everyone and therefore doesn't have any central point of authority or control or manipulation. So therefore, it can be used as a transfer of value without someone having a central point of authority over its value, and can alter and can manipulate its value. So a commodity is something that's common to everyone, so either extracted or grown, and Bitcoin is extracted, that's then been itemized and then uniquely identified, so that you can then use it as a medium of exchange because it belongs to you. Currency, on the other hand, is a circulating security. And a security is meant to transport the value of the money that it backs, and the security of that certificate, which is why it's called a security, is granted by the higher authority that issued it. So therefore, securities only have value in a closed economic area or private community, where that authority has the power to issue those certificates, which represent the claim on the value or whatever it is. So that's what a currency is. A currency has no value if it's removed from money, whereas Bitcoin is a commodity. And when a commodity monopolizes a market due to its ability to be used as a medium of exchange, it becomes a monopoly commodity and recognized as money. That's what money is, a monopoly commodity. And because a medium of exchange is a tool that enables, encourages, and accelerates the facilitation of trade, over time, these various tools will just simply outcompete one another, and there will only be one. And that's when you get money. And if that money, like gold, is heavy and cumbersome and difficult to transport and weigh out and find a true value of, because you've got to spend time weighing it, you can effectively create a certificate, which is a security, which secures your entitlement to that gold, which is a pre-weighted amount of gold. So therefore, you don't have to spend time, weighing that gold. You've got a pre-weighted amount in the form of a security that you just hand over. So therefore, it speeds up business. And we're in the digital age now, and what we're using is digital securities fraud, because they've removed gold from any fiat currency that they just simply produce on a screen. As Ben Bernanke once said, we simply use the computer to make up $160 billion to bail out AIG after the financial crisis of 2008. Absolutely crazy. So that's why he's changed his opinion, because his knowledge has expanded on this. And I think everybody's learning, because I can promise you, I've even from hearing them speak, both Catherine Austin Fitz and Richard Werner, who are the probably two most highly regarded authorities on central banking, neither of them understand the difference between currency and money, and it's literally like night and day. So that's my point of view on that one. And then there's lots of others. I mean, crikey! I mean, this is it's absolutely epic. Absolutely epic, this. I wish I could actually be involved in it. So, Calvin, Stefan, Craig, if you're listening to this, again, I mean, I can answer that point for them. If you want to contact me, I mean, Craig, there's so many other ways to prove that he created this network outside of signing, and that's really what they want. 10 minutes already, but this is the revised timetable, and in trial as follows. Starting from the 9th of October, says Dr. Wright must provide response to Section E of the request for information, and it carries on. Then we've got 13th of October, 23rd, 13th of November, 17th of November, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 1st of December, 8th of December, and then we've got pre-trial review hearing on 13th to the 15th of December. Then we've got skeleton arguments for the trial to be exchanged and filed with the court, together with an agreed chronology and an agreed reading guide. Then on the 15th of January, we've got opening submission to be followed by 4 days of pre-reading. Then on the 22nd of January, we've got further hearing of the trial resumes. And then 4th of March, it says days of Oracle closing submissions. There we go. And I think I've got, there we go. That's the picture that I posted out on Twitter. This was just an article that somebody posted out to me. It was quite interesting. It said CFTC chair Rostin Benham disagrees with Gary Gensler on the state of digital asset regulation. Hold on a sec. Somebody said there was a quote here actually. No thanks. He said, I think he said something like 70% of crypto assets were commodities. Absolutely unbelievable. The ignorance is just simply absolutely outstanding and shocking. The fact that the regulators themselves can't even differentiate between a digital commodity and a digital security. It's absolutely shocking. Really, honestly and truly quite shocking. But there we go, we'll leave it there. So this is all about the largest court case in financial history, the cabal, which is COPA versus Bitcoin, which is Craig Wright, on the 15th of January 2024. Stay tuned and we'll bring you more. And until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.